everybody. This is Jay. We are here in Huntsville, Texas on this beautiful day. Blue skies. We're at the Texas Prison Museum in Huntsville, Texas, and we're going to tour inside and see what artifacts and items they have that the inmates have made and what they've gone through, and look at infamous inmates. And so let's head on in and see what they have here. So when you first get in, you'll see that they have some woodwork, rocking horses, and a tractor there. They made a motorcycle here as well. These are the inmates that made these, and their woodwork is pretty good, to be honest with you, kind of amazing. I didn't quite get the price on them, but I believe they are. You are able to purchase them. And then when you come in here, you'll see that this room, you can sit and watch about a 5-minute video and kind of learn the history of the prison here as well, and read these different signs, or pictures I should say. So these are just different license plates and different items they used around the prison, construction, or the workers' uniform there, and different showcases. The Huntsville prison is home of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and they have several prisons, including Ellis Unit, which previously housed the death row, and the Huntsville Unit houses the execution chamber. These red bricks right here are from 1936 to 1979, and those were part of the prison as well. Of course, there you just have some rodeo items, different items from the courthouse. This museum was founded in 1989, and it was originally located in downtown Huntsville, and it moved to its current location northwest of town, which is where we're at now, on Texas State Highway 75 and Interstate 45. So here we have all of the shackles and handcuffs, ball and chain, different items the correctional officers used on the inmates when they would come in. Different keys over there to unlock the prison cells. Here we have different guns that were used by the officers, 38 caliber gas gun, 30-30 there, AR-15, which is used in prisons today. They also have batons, nightstick there, and double barrel shotgun, you'll see. So quite a few different guns and pistols there. And this right here was the different uniforms that the officers would wear, I guess for different job duties that they had. And then right there, kind of went quick, but had the badges that they wore. Of course, this is just rodeo stuff here that they're displaying. Here's a better view of those badges. these two uniforms here are just showing you what the inmates' uniforms look like. This showcase here has different items. That board right there, that Central State Farm board, was to keep a record of the inmates that were there. That way they would know their whereabouts. And then these different items inmates had right there were, looks like two of their IDs there, and some of their commissary items that they would get, and toothbrushes, combs, obviously your toiletry items. These pictures here are different inmates that you've probably heard of through the years. David Crosby there, Juanita Phillips, aka Candy Bar. And then most of you will probably recognize Clyde Barrow, which was one of the two, Bonnie and Clyde duo. Made movies off of that, Bonnie and Clyde. So these are just different inmates, that famous, infamous inmates that you can read about, see what they did and the history behind them. As we're walking up this way, if you look kind of right below the ceiling, you'll see some barbed wire above that fence. That's what they used at the prison. And this gate right here was from the Rusk Penitentiary, and it was manufactured by the inmates prior to 1900. And part of this, this gate was part of the fence to the general manager's house, the warden's house, and right there in that picture, I'll zoom in here, and you can kind of see where that gate was, and that was dated on the bottom of this gate. It's dated 1892. So this gate has been here for quite some time. Behind this fence over here, different office machines they used. They have typewriters there. They have a printing press, and then they have a little fingerprint machine. And they have a mugshot camera, regular camera, different machines they use there. Here's the actual size of the prison cell that they have in the Walls unit. And usually you can walk in, but right now I was told that they have the gate locked because it needs some repairs done to it. So it's kind of a safety risk. So right now they've got the gate locked up to where you can't go in, but usually you can go in and look at the room and get a better idea of the space in there. Those are just different pictures of inmates that cross the different prisons. This stuff is from the Texas prison rodeo. Old mechanical bull there, along with your saddle, the uniforms that they wore back in the rodeo days. These are the different barber chairs, central barber shop that they had at the prison. And historically, all of the male inmates were required to be clean shaven and maintain a short haircut. And this was for the safety and security and hygiene upon arriving to the unit. That was one of the first things that was provided to the inmates. But here, the past few years, federal courts have allowed male offenders, to grow facial hair and long hair for different religious beliefs. This pistol here, April 4th, 1981, it says it was wrestled from the warden, and the inmate that wrestled it from the warden shot the farm manager, and then ended up drowning the warden in a creek. And after multiple trials, the inmate was acquitted of all charges of wrongdoing. So just different information and facts they have here in the prison. This right here, this was a 15-inch kitchen knife, and it was marked as evidence during a capital murder trial of an inmate who killed correctional officer Minnie Houston right there, you see in that picture. And then the inmate later died in prison in the year of 2000. This here is an actual saw blade from the Ellis unit. The paintings on it are depicting the different faces of the Texas prison rodeo. And then on the back it looks like the actual prison and different artwork there. These are just different items, paintings that the inmates have made and painted. Now all of this is from inmates, what they have made, all these desks and chairs, a crib there. This is all handmade by inmates. Going back to the Texas prison rodeo history, it was launched in 1931 during the during the Depression years. It was held at a baseball park outside of Wall's unit. This right here, a lot of these items here were made out of soap. So they have this on display, items made from bars of soap from the inmates. So the rodeo, it was considered the brainchild of entertainment for employees and inmates. And so it later on, through the years, they did away with it. Now they no longer have the Texas rodeo, prison rodeo. These are just more items that the inmates have made. Just different prison gangs. I guess their tattoos are what made them stand out from a different gang. Two wedding dolls that were made by an inmate. Capital punishment in Texas. This is the execution chair, and it's known as the Thunderbolt, but it's also known as Old Sparky, is what they would call it. And you can't actually walk up to it and sit on it or anything. They have it blocked off, but you can get a good idea of what it looks like. I'm not sure personally if I would want to sit in it myself, to be honest with you, but it's interesting to look at from a distance. That was just a getaway bicycle. And kind of jumping back to the execution chair, this is the items they use for lethal injection. Different items describing what those were used for. Some of you may remember the name of that Carla Faye Tucker right there. 1998, she was the first woman to be executed since the Civil War. Read on that as well if you're here. These dolls I mentioned earlier, they were made by an inmate, and they were named the parole babies. The inmate gave them that name because she knew that those dolls would eventually find a new home, but the seamstress wouldn't. So she named those dolls parole babies. Those pictures there are just family members of inmates who have been executed here at the Huntsville unit. Just different facts there, interesting facts. A lot of boards and stuff you can read here and get more information on as well. Just more of the rodeo stuff there. That rodeo, it was said to be drawing in one of the largest crowds in Texas. It was held every Sunday, and crowds grew to exceed 100,000 in some years. So here we get to the pistol of Bonnie and Clyde. Most of you are familiar with Bonnie and Clyde. There's movies out on them, and the pistol there that we were looking at was taken from the death car, and it was brought back to Texas and given to the warden, which was Lee Simmons at the time. And Lee Simmons, there it is right there, you can see it better. Newspaper there talking about Bonnie and Clyde. Lee Simmons served as general manager of the warden from 1930 to 1935. And then right there you'll see a letter from Clyde that was addressed to Henry Ford. So if you're ever in Huntsville and you need something to do, stop by this Texas Prison Museum here. A lot of prisons are here in Texas, but this is the
prison here where inmates are executed, and on death row they have different units but throughout Texas, but this is a lot of history here at Texas Museum. So I would like to just take a minute, thank everybody for watching my videos and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, like this channel, hit that notification bell to be alerted when new videos are uploaded, and leave a comment below if you've been here or if you have any interesting facts about the prison system or anything you'd like to share with us. Again, thanks so much for spending your day with Jay, and we'll see you on our next adventure.